that the people on Twitter have to come to Insta or Facebook. Can you see the battery's running out there? Okay. Okay, Facebookers, keep coming. I can see you, 41 of you. We are just struggling with Wi-Fi on Twitter, so I'm just trying to make sure that we are connected. So let's see if it connects. But on Insta, we are live already. Welcome. Okay, welcome. Let's see, everyone is live. All right, everyone on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter, welcome. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's 4 o'clock, another Sunday. We're starting a new series, a bow tie series, and this one is about developing a successful career as an academic. But I thought what I should do, start with my own career and what helped me focus. And then I invite two people who, as you know, people I admire, people I respect, people that give me hope. And today I've invited Dr. Mugobe Masuta, who completed his PhD at Bath, University of Bath, and Professor Salome Maswime, who's here at UCT, and they will talk to us about their careers. But before that, I thought I should take a bit of time talking to you about what helped me in my career. Note that my story doesn't necessarily mean this is the story or the only story. It is not the story or the only story, but it is my story, and it's a story that I know best in terms of how I managed my career. And so what I'm doing is to share with you what helped me. It doesn't mean that's the only way that you're going to get help. But I'm doing this because I really don't have the time to be talking to each one of you, telling you how I managed my career. I think it's better to share it here, and all of you, each one of you can take what you can from this and learn from it, tweak it, make sure that it works for you. But also I can share the pitfalls, things that you can watch out for, and the people that I invite will do the same too. There's lots of things that we're going to share. It's not one session. This is the first session. I invite you to keep coming back. I hope we're going to do at least 10 sessions. It may be more, but at least 10 that we're going to do focusing on developing a successful academic career. And this series is suitable for, as a start, even if someone is not in academia, but they're interested in building a career, I ask you to invite them. WhatsApp them, tell them to join in, because some of the principles are the same, right? But invite all your postgraduate students, children, nieces, nephews who haven't yet decided to be in academia, maybe yet, but you never know. Let them come in and listen up, because if they decide to come in, it will help them quite a great deal. Invite everyone who's a young academic, new academic. It's important that we share. Nobody has got a perfect story, but it's important, particularly those of us who come from backgrounds where there are no academics. Like you don't have a mom who's an academic or a professor uncle or whatever. It's always good to get people who've been there to tell you how they made it. So that's why we are here. But for me, what helped me succeed, the little success that I have as an academic, is knowing the difference between a career and a job. That's been very, very critical. What's the difference between a career and a job, right? And I remember that I started my academic career at Wits. What people don't know is that when I started my academic career, I had been a teacher, I had been a lecturer at college, I had worked in the NGO world. I was young, but I had spent 6 good years working with teachers and learners in farm schools. So I had been sort of in the trenches doing teaching, humility, running into farm schools, getting there at 6 o'clock, leaving when the school ends, going to another school, preparing until 9 o'clock and going the following day. But when I decided to be an academic, I had to figure out what's the difference between a career and a job. I was at Wits, and it wasn't such an easy time. It was 1998. People who looked like me were very few, and so it was important to understand, why am I here? Why am I here? What am I doing? And I said to myself, I'm building a career. And I thought, what does building a career mean? Why am I not just having a job? Well, a career is much bigger than a job, okay? A job is much smaller. A job is tied to your employer and you are an employee. A career has got nothing to do with an employer. It's much bigger than the employer, right? It's bigger than the job that you're having now. It's bigger than being there at 9 or at 8, knocking off at 4. It is much bigger. It is not tied to your performance agreement. It is not tied to your job description. It is tied to you and your big why, okay? Your purpose, that's what it's tied to. It is not tied to working hours, your career. It's not tied to working hours. It continues beyond your working hours. So if you're building a career, you're not looking at what's my job description, what are my working hours, what my employer says this or that. No. A career is much bigger than that, okay? You do it whilst you build it whilst doing a job. And in most cases, actually in all cases, your job, your success in your job can contribute to having a successful career. But here's the job. A job, you see, a career, you do it for yourself. But a career, you do it for yourself, but a job, you do it for someone else. That's a key difference. A job you do for someone else, but a career you do for yourself. All right? A job will help you pay the bills, whilst a career does more than that. Not only will you be able to pay your bills, but you will also leave a legacy, right? So it's not that a career will not help you pay your bills. It will still pay your bills, but it will do much bigger than that. It will help you build a legacy or leave a legacy, right? So I understand not everyone wants to leave a legacy. That's okay. I'm just telling you the difference, right? So with a job, you work for someone else. With a career, you're working for yourself. You see, the thing is that how do you know then whether you're in a career or your job? If you go to your workplace, you're dragging yourself, you're cutting corners, whatever, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for someone else. But here's the thing, it might backfire on you because it might harm your career. All right? So whilst you're in a job, don't ever say, I'm in a job, I don't care, it's not for me, it's for my line manager or my company, so it really doesn't matter whether I do it well or not. Okay? When you are in your job, whilst you are in your job, you can help build your career, right? So you build a reputation, you build your profile, but you're doing a good job. You do that by doing a good job, right? So I've always gotten to my office at 5 o'clock or earlier, long before I started being a professor, long before I came to UCT. People who work me at vet, security guards, whatever, they will tell you I would be the first one to get in at the gate and I'll be the last one to go. No complaints. Why? Because I told myself I'm building a career. I'll be there on Saturday, on Sunday. Why? Because I'm building a career. It's not about how much time you spend. It's what you do with that time, right? And we are going to get to that. But I just want to explain. My reason for doing that was not to please the line manager or to please my employer. It was because I'm building a career. Of course, I understood that what I'm doing contributes to my employer, makes my employer looks good. That's fine. It will make your employer look good. But more than that, beyond making your employer look good, it helps you build a career. All right. So every time you make a decision, ask yourself, am I doing this? Is this that I'm doing and the way I'm doing it contributing to my career, or could it be a harm to my career? Right. Now here's the thing. How do you know that? If you do it with great passion, determination, commitment, in spite of the many challenges that you face in your job or in your space, then it's a career. You see, a career, you will do it, whatever comes. You will keep on doing it because it's much bigger than the job, okay? It's much bigger than the salary. Whether they pay you this much or that much or whatever, you are building a career. So you will do it. All right? Whether your line manager is supportive of you or not, that's not the issue. You are building a career. So you will go through adversity with great enthusiasm and commitment because you're building a career. You don't let little things or big things discourage you from doing a good job because you are building a career. All right? You are contributing to a bigger why. You have got a bigger purpose. If your purpose is making a difference in higher education, leaving a legacy, or creating a path for other young people like you to get into the space and succeed, then you will do it. So never get deterred, never get discouraged, whatever happens. You are building a career. Always ask yourself, is this a career or a job? And here's the thing. You've got to be committed. Building a career is not easy. It's not something necessarily that a labor union will help you build. They are not there for that. If you have a line manager who helps you build a career, consider yourself very, very lucky. Hold on to that. Honor them. Because most of them don't do that, right? Honor them and thank them, because it's not as if they are there just to make you succeed. They are there to do the job for the employer, and in the midst of that, they also help you. Right. The second thing that helped me is getting a mentor. All right? Getting a mentor. One day, I'll have a session, a whole entire session, on how to be a good mentee. At the moment, I just want to say it is important to get a mentor. And here's how you choose a mentor. It is not someone whose bank balance you admire. It's someone whose ethical choices you admire. All right? Someone whose ethical choices you admire. They might be driving a small car, but they're making good decisions. All right? They may not have the big house, but it's the ethical choices you admire. You choose mentors well, right? Have a mentor. Note that I said, you might, I said a labor union won't necessarily build your career. Some people belong to labor unions that are very progressive and they'll help you build a career. Great. If they help you build a career at your labor union, it's great. That's not what a labor union is there for. They are there to protect your rights. But if they help you build a career, fantastic. All right? But they are there to protect your right. The thing about a mentor is that a mentor is there to make sure that you succeed. Right? So a mentor won't say you're supposed to be only there for 8 hours. They are making you work 10 hours. No, they're not going to say that. They might even say, well, maybe you shouldn't start at 8 o'clock. Maybe you need to start at 7. Because maybe you can cover more. Maybe after going to the gym, you need to spend another 2 hours working. They'll give you exorbitant tasks and they'll expect you to deliver, and they will be upset when you don't deliver. If your mentor doesn't get irritated when you don't deliver, look here. If your mentor doesn't get irritated if you don't deliver, they are not good for you. I promise you. If they just say, it's okay, and it's okay, you don't deliver anything, you had planned to write a paper, you had planned to do this, you haven't delivered none of them, and it's end of 6 months, and they are just saying, okay, they are not saying, wait, now we got to talk. They're going to say, we got to talk. Do you want to do this? Or you're not going to do this? Are you willing to work with me on this or not? They've got to give you a serious chat. If they don't do that, when you don't deliver, you are in a bad space in Tase. Find another mentor. And I'm telling you. And here's the thing. When a mentor does that, they are not bullying you. They're being nice to you. A mentor has to set exorbitant goals. And it's okay if they give you hell when you don't achieve them. You will thank them later. I am what I am because I had tough mentors. I had a mentor who set goals, who told me, this is not going to work. You got to deliver, who challenged me to deliver and didn't just smile when I don't deliver. All right. You got to get a mentor like that. All right. You got to get a mentor like that. And don't you ever call them a bully when they insist you deliver on what you have promised as a mentor mentee. One day we will talk about how to be a good mentor, because it's a relationship, you build it. Right. So understanding a difference between a career and a job is important. Getting a good mentor is important. There's a whole lot of things that are important. But it's 4:15. And what I want to do is to get Mukobe online. I'm going to ask Mukobe to go online. I'm going to call him up now. Note, the two things that I've shared with you are not the only two things that will make your career successful. There are many other things. I'm just giving you a little bit, and then I talk to two people. Next week, come back, and I will share with you all the key things that have helped me succeed in my career. I'll even tell you things that I wish I did differently. All right? I will let you in, because like you, I didn't have an aunt or an uncle who's a professor. So stay with me and come back next week, but stay on, because we've got Mukobe, and Mukobe is going to talk to us about the decisions that he's making. Mukobe, as you saw in the advert, Mukobe just completed his PhD. He did his PhD at the University of Bath in the UK. And Mukobe, I know Mukobe for a long time. Those of you who are Vetsis will know that Mukobe was president of the SRC at Vets. And I know Mukobe, I think he hadn't even finished his undergraduate degree. So when he graduated his honors, I think I kept him for his honors and his masters, I can't remember. But I know Mukobe from when he was a young person and wasn't a graduate. But there's something about young people who are clear about what they want to deliver. I had no doubt that Mukobe is going to go for a PhD one day. It was clear in his conversations, and now he's completed his PhD, and he's made an interesting decision, right? He's made an interesting decision that many young Black South African PhDs don't make, all right? Many don't make, because it is not a cheap decision. He chose to do a postdoc. He chose to do a postdoctoral fellowship, a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship after his PhD at UJ. And you can see he's struggling to come online, but we did a sound check earlier. He chose to do a postdoc. Now, in many countries, a postdoc is a very important part of an academic career, and many young people do a postdoc, choose to do a postdoc before they get on with their academic career. But for some reason in South Africa, particularly young Black South Africans don't choose it. And that's why I thought, let me speak to Mukobe so that he can talk to us about why he chose. Why did he choose to do a postdoc? And what is he going to do with the postdoc? What is the advantage? I can tell you that. I did my PhD whilst I was working, and my postdoc was 3 months. But Mukobe's got full 2 years, right? I was already a mother, I was married, I had a job, and I decided to do a PhD. Mukobe went from undergrad to PhD, right? He hasn't necessarily had a full-time job. He had a full-time job for a short while, I think 2 years, and then went on to do a PhD. And it is important that we understand what a postdoc can do for your career, and that's why I want Mukobe to talk to us about his postdoctoral fellowship, which he's going to do at UJ. When you do a postdoctoral fellowship, you're not in a full-time job, all right? You're not in a full-time job, so you're not getting a salary of a lecturer or a professor. So many people don't choose to do a postdoc because they think they can make more money, they can go, and it's okay. And that's the difference between a career and a job. When you pursue a career, money is important, but it is not everything. You don't make money decisions, you make career decisions, right? Sometimes The decisions that you make don't give you more money, but what they do, they strengthen your career. And so if you want to build a career, don't just make decisions about they're going to pay me more, so I'm going. Otherwise, you'll be hopping from one place to the other, 2 years here, 2 years there, 1 year there. Career decisions are very different from money decisions, okay? When you're pursuing a career, you don't make money decisions, you make career decisions, which means there may be times when you say no to a job offer. Why? Because you believe the timing is not right, or perhaps you think, I don't want to be in that industry, or you think, well, I'm still doing my PhD. If I go there, I won't have time to complete my PhD, and therefore I'm going to say no. All right? So you don't make money decisions. And I know people say, no, but I have needs, my parents want a house, and so on. I know that. It's a sacrifice for a particular time. Let me tell you, money is never enough. You will always need more. It doesn't matter how much they pay you. You will always need more. If you get caught up in the money game, you will always be chasing money. That's the problem. Money is not bad. But if you get caught up in the money game, then you are always pursuing money. And you don't want to be caught up in a money game and be running after money all the time. You want to be running after other things. And your career, you will focus you. Your career will help keep you focused. So make money decisions and not career decisions. I'm still trying to get Mugobe. I also have Professor Masime who is getting ready, but I'm going to keep trying Mugobe whilst I talk to you. He's having network problems. So career decisions are not money decisions. Now, an academic career has got different aspects. It's not, many people, young people say to me, they want to be academics, but they don't like teaching. Like, no, I don't want to teach. I just want to do research. Prof, I just want to go to conferences. It is so cool. I just want to publish my knowledge and so on and so forth. That's fine. It's good. That's part of the academic career, but it's not everything. An academic career also has teaching, right? An academic career also has teaching. So if you want to be an academic, but you hate young people, if you hate students, but you want to be an academic, wrong business. Don't even come close, right? If you want to be an academic, but you hate students, bad decision. Then don't go for that. If you just want to make money, but you want to be an academic, not a good idea, all right? If you come to academia, the call is much bigger than the money, because many people who are in academia, by the way, could make more money elsewhere. They could make more money elsewhere. People who choose to be in academia are not there just for money. Many of them could be making a whole lot of money elsewhere, right? But they have to be, they are here because they love certain things about academia. Now, you have to love students, because students are an important part of our business. You can't come here and hold grudges against students and be vindictive. Yesterday they were protesting, and then tomorrow when they come, you are still holding a grudge of yesterday. No. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. That's not to say students have to be nasty or whatever. No. But you've got to understand that we raising young people. They are 19, they are 17. Some of them are 16 when they come to us. You know how you were when you were young, okay? You know many decisions that you have made that haven't worked before as a young person. So you can't be punishing young people for making decisions that don't work. We all make them when we are young people. So you have to love young people. You can't be an academic and hate young people, right? And then you've got to love teaching. And then you've got to love research. Okay, if you only like teaching, you don't want research, you must go and teach at school. When you're an academic, you've got to love both teaching and research. Actually, you've got to understand that they are interdependent. Your teaching reinvigorates your research informs your teaching. They work together. They are never in opposition. They work together. Of course, I know that some people are stronger more in teaching than in research. Some people are stronger in research than in teaching. But there are many people who are strong in both. And I know that what made my career successful and move faster was because I made sure that my research is connected to my teaching. Because they were so connected, it made it easier, right? Now, the people who are problematic is the people who are saying, I'm just here to do research. I don't want to see any student. I just want to do research. Leave me alone. Then you can be a researcher, not an academic, because an academic has to do both. In universities, there are research positions. There are not many. And some universities have more than others, whatever. I'm talking about an academic, right? Academic will do both. So I've sort of made you, I'm going to try Mukobe again. I can see Mukobe keeps trying to come back. So in academia, we do research, we teach, but we also do admin. Admin. You know, admin of academia starts with not only marking, preparing the lectures, you know what, marking, guys. Marking. Yes, I said marking. 80 scripts, 1,000 scripts, sometimes 1,500, depending on where you are. If you teach a large first year class, I have been a young academic. I mean, people don't know my academic career. I started from the bottom, from being a tutor, senior tutor, lecturer, senior lecturer. I've been an associate professor, professor. So I've done the whole line. So I can tell you about the tough stuff about marking. So I know that when you're an academic, at some stage, you're going to be faced with marking a lot of scripts, especially in your junior time. Admin, the marking is the first admin you do, the entering of the marks, whatever. Remember, you are building a career. So when you build a career, when you're in a job, by the way, there will be parts of your job that you don't like. You know, don't let people lie to you. Nobody loves 100% of their job, every little thing. There's some little thing that you say, I'm doing it, but it's not 100% of your career. You don't like it, but you have to do it, right? You have to do it. Every job is like that. There is no job in the world that doesn't have that. There's no career in the world that doesn't have some little thing that you don't like. But the passion is the core of it. So the admin is something that many people don't like. Sitting, entering the marks, whatever, that part that you do after exams. It's an admin that we don't like. Many people don't like, but it has to be done. And some of us love doing it because we love our students. We wanted them to get the marks on time. We wanted to make sure that they are, you know, so the fact that I don't like the task, it was not as important as the fact that I want my students to succeed. All right? You want your students to succeed, and therefore you do those things, right? So there'll be things that you don't like in a career. You won't like necessarily everything, right? Keep trying to get Mukobe. But here's the thing. Whilst Mukobe is joining us, by the way, your job can be a subset of your career. It can be a subset of your career. So if you have done mathematics, you know that in set theory, you have if you have two circles, you can have two intersecting circles. They intersect like that, right? Intersecting, and the intersection is right here in the middle. Or you can have concentric circles. Concentric circles is one outside, one inside. So, or you can have two circles that are disjoined like that, right? So your career can be a subset of your job, can be a subset of your job in the sense that your job can be a subset of your career in the sense that you've got the big career and your job is just a small. In your job, build towards your career, right? And sometimes there's a little intersection, sometimes it's separate, right? But it doesn't matter what the Venn diagram looks like, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? I want you to know that even if you are currently an optician, but you want to be an academic, your discipline as an optician or an optometrist or a dentist or whatever, or as a school teacher, is gonna come handy in your career. So think yourself, I'm a teacher now, but I'm building a career. So I'm gonna do this teaching job this optician job with passion, whatever, because it's training for when you go and do your career, right? When you go and be in a job that's consistent with what you want to do in your career. So never just take things for granted that I don't care for this job because it's got nothing to do with my career. One day I'm going to do a proper thing, and so I can just rubbish it the way I want because I'm moving on. Many young people do that, and then it backfires because people are looking at you. People realize, oh, she comes late. Oh, she doesn't deliver. Oh, she's like that. Then nobody wants to hire you because who wants to work with a lazy person? Oh, she's complaining all the time. Oh, when she's got a mental health issue or whatever, she doesn't go to mental health help in the company. She doesn't, seek help, whatever. How can we help? Whatever you do, try to make sure that you don't sabotage your own career. Try to make sure that you don't sabotage your own career, because your own career is much bigger than where you are, and your job will create a path for you. So, academia, what you have, research, teaching, social responsiveness, or in other universities, they say community engagement is part of your job, right? It's part of your job. But in the midst of that, there's admin, there's conferences, there's external examining, there's writing proposals for your research. You don't sit and say the university must give me money for my research. You write proposal, you compete for them, you engage with communities, you review papers, you might even teach, do other work, and you challenge yourself to be a great teacher. You care about your students. Whether they care about you or not, it's neither here nor there. You keep running and make sure that they succeed, because if they succeed, you succeed. You pursue good quality journals. You don't just do anything that you want. Okay, we're struggling to get Mugabe. I'm gonna try for the last time. If we can't get him, I'm gonna get Professor Maswime. So I'm gonna ask Professor Maswime to try to also prepare herself. If I can't get them, don't worry. I have a whole thing prepared to share with you about how you develop a successful academic career, and I hope you are benefiting right now. If we can't get Mugabe this week, we will make sure that we get him next week. We will keep trying until we get him during one of these sessions, if we can get him today. But just know that the academic career is not just research. You just sit and just do research. No, there's a lot. But here's the thing. I keep talking about a career and a job. You must whatever. The bottom line of it all is your career is your business. Did you hear me, Twitter? Your career is your business. It is not your line manager's business. It's not your employer's business. It's not your aunt's business. It's not your vice chancellor's business. It's your business. So you must build it. Okay? Your career is your business. So don't outsource it. Don't sit there and give it to someone else and say, you don't, somebody must carry. No. They will help you. And of course, when they help you, they're helping themselves. Every university that must help young academics develop, because if they don't, they will fail. Okay? But don't wait for them. Don't wait for them, you young academic. Do it. It is your business. You do it, and they should do it. They don't do it for you because it's you. They do it because they will succeed as a university when you succeed, right? It is their responsibility to do it, because that's the only way that they will succeed. Universities succeed because the academics they have are successful. I'm now inviting Professor Salome Maswime, and Professor Salome Maswime is joining us. I'm sorry that we haven't been able to get Mugabe, but we will get Mugabe soon. crisis, right? I've got crisis, my battery's running low, and so on and so forth. But we're gonna try. I hope the young man comes whilst I'm doing this, so that we can get sorted. Professor Maswimi, so you have an interesting story because you are an academic, but you have also you are a medical doctor basically. You could have just gone to be a GP. Why academia?
Yeah, so I mean, it was a very well. It's an interesting and you know, it was very interesting because I went through my med school. Not, can you hear me well? I can hear some.
I can hear you, but I'm waiting for people to tell me if they can't hear you. Yeah, keep going.
All right. So as I was explaining, I mean, I went through medical school, and at some point, I decided, in fact, much later, that I wanted to specialize. You know, many of us, as you go through medical school, the idea is to specialize, and of course, money was a big thing. You know, you go through your specialist exams, preparing to be a gynecologist. I'd already planned, you know, how I was gonna get rich, pay off my debts, and really live the life. But then I really had this passion and this desire to make a difference. And I just grew up really feeling like I had something that I could add to the world. Working as a doctor, I felt what I was doing was very important. But I also felt like I'm not contributing enough. I'm really not, you know, as an academic, at the end of the day, I'm following information that has been created by somebody else. I'm not getting a chance to contribute and to change how things are done. And I didn't always I didn't always agree with some of the things that were being done. So I felt that as an academic, I had an opportunity to change the way things were done. I also felt that I could be remembered, you know, because at some point you get to a place where you want to have a legacy, you want people to remember you, you want to make a difference. And I really felt that by simply staying as a doctor working in private practice, for example, I won't be able to make a meaningful contribution. I won't be remembered. Maybe I'll be remembered by a few people, but I won't be, but my contribution won't really go as far as I wanted it to go. So that's really what drove me into going this way. Of course, some of the things that I had to deal with was in my field, seeing women that were dying, deaths that were preventable, and it was women that looked like me. It was African women, and of course, I felt I had a moral obligation to do something different and to be part of the change and create solutions as well.
Great, and thanks, Salome. I mean, you could have gone any other route. You could have been a medical doctor. You could have gone on to be a specialist and just make money, basically, and not have to work so hard publishing and whatever, being, you know, doing all these things that you have to do, but you decided to go into academia. But what are the things, 3 things that you can share with our young people who are listening now that helped you succeed? I mean, you are like me, a Black African, South African woman born in this country from Limpopo. You know, it's not as if you're from Johannesburg. You know, you're not from Johannesburg. You're from Limpopo. Not even in Seshego, like from down in Limpopo. Tell us, which university did you do your undergrad in, Salome?
In UKZN. I did my undergrad
at UKZN. So you moved from Limpopo to go to UKZN to do your PhD, to do your undergraduate degree. Now, people think if you are from Limpopo, deep down there, not in Seshego, not at the beginning, like right in, they think you will never make it. Now, from Limpopo there, right in, within. Now you are within at the top university in the continent. Tell us 3 things that made you succeed. I'm struggling here.
So I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I must really say, I really love what I do. And I think that was the biggest thing, the biggest passion to say, I wanted to do what I really loved, you know, and that was number 1, that I with all the options that I had, I wanted to do something that I loved. But I'll be honest, as a young girl growing up, you see people, you graduate, you see people wearing the red gown, you know, you want to be one of those people yourself. You see professors, you see those those amazing, the velvet hat. You know, you want to be one of them, you know. So there was a part of making a decision that I want to be a professor. In fact, I'd written it down somewhere that, you know, by 35, I want a PhD. I want to be a doctor, all of that. So I think number one was making the decision that I wanted to go that route. Number two was looking for opportunities, you know, and actively, you know, you see adverts who are looking for fellowships, for their fellowships, they're advertising, they're advertising for funding. You apply for those things, you know, and it's not too difficult to get them, especially at this time. You're a young South African Black female. It's not very, there are some opportunities which are really created and intended for us because there aren't enough of us in the country. So you apply for those things. Going overseas, you know, there are things, opportunities, go spend a year overseas. So after I did my PhD, I realized that I needed to be in a space with people that were doing cutting edge research in my area. And that was one of the things that, you know, a friend of mine said, apply, go to Harvard, spend a year. And I did that and I learned those things. So I think the two things is decision. The second one is looking for opportunities and making the most out of those opportunities. And then the last thing is finding mentors along the way and people who are going to support you. It's usually not just one person, you know, it's a number of people that you meet along the way who say, I believe in you. I believe in what you believe in, and I'm going to help you and support you. It might just be for a few months, it might be for a year, but it's having people along the way who are able to support you achieve your visions and dreams. And they'll constantly be those people. There'll be difficult people as well, but they also help you. You know, you're not only helped by the mentors, but even those that make your life difficult for some time will also help you so that you can at least learn what not to do or you know, gain the resilience. Because it's
one day we'll talk about a mentor another time. I want to focus on this one of actively looking for opportunities. And here's my thing, and I want us to hone in on this for a while, because actively looking for opportunities is very important. So you must actively look for opportunities, right? But if truth be told, we as Black African South Africans now, today, not only today, even in my day, I did a PhD in the late 90s, completed in 2002. There are many opportunities. And to be honest with you, many people get those opportunities. It is what you do with the opportunity that matters. It is not the fact that you get an opportunity. And that's my concern, that many people get an opportunity. And for me, by the way, an opportunity is just even getting a scholarship. Nobody is entitled to a scholarship, but it's an opportunity. What do you do with it? Getting a fellowship to go to the US or to go to Europe or to go to wherever is an opportunity. So you actively look for an opportunity. Once you get it, I have found myself in the midst with people with opportunities, squandering them, the same opportunity that I have, and I find myself milking the opportunity. We're in the US, we are students. I'm milking it, and people are busy relaxing on it. Now, I want you to tell us of how you made the most of the opportunities. Not many things, because people will forget, right? Just 3 things that people should do or that you have done to make the most of the opportunity.
So I think, I mean, the you know, the most important thing is once you get the opportunity, you need to have an honest moment with yourself and say, you know, I've got this special opportunity. I can make it or break it. What do I want out of it? Because at the end of the day, we can all receive the same thing. But some are going to be high flyers, some are going to use this, become professors at the end of the day, and some are going to struggle, and some will not even finish what they started. So I think that honest sitting down with yourself and saying, what does this mean for me? What do I need? What do I want to do with it? What do I want the outcome to be? And then what else is there in it, you know? So, and opportunities, I mean, they never come packaged very well. I had the opportunity to go overseas. You know, you've got a family, you've got children. what do we do? Do we pack up? Do people resign from their jobs? What do? They don't come packaged the way you want them to be packaged. But you sit down, you reflect, you sit down with yourself, your family, everyone, and you plan. What are we going to get out of this opportunity? And you use it as a stepping stone to the next thing. You cannot be that person that was in 2014, you received this award, and that was the end of it. You use that award to get to your next award. And one thing that I personally do is when I receive an opportunity, you also publicize it, you make noise about it, you inform people that you received this thing, because people then realize that, okay, if you were able to get this opportunity or this funding, it means we can trust you with funding. Your next grant application then becomes much easier, because they know you had this, you were faithful with it.
And more than that, you deliver. You must deliver. You don't make noise to us that you got this funding and then not deliver. You must say, I got this funding, I delivered this. Then other people will trust you with their funding in future. You don't deliver. You can't then get surprised if we don't trust you with our money.
So it's not even just about making noise. It's you make noise when you know that I've done this properly, and there are some results, and it's gonna lead to the next thing. Because if you don't do it properly, no one's gonna trust you. No one's gonna trust you. They'll just know that she was here, we learned nothing from her in the time we got, so you don't want that bad reputation as well.
So you get an opportunity to go overseas, a fellowship or whatever. When you get there, make the most of it. Don't get there and sleep and go shopping and whatever. Make the most of it so that they remember there was someone here. We learned a lot from them. They delivered. They should miss you once. And then they should sit there and say, Salome, man, can she come back? And they can tell others in the world that we had one here, a girl from Limpopo. She did her thing. You can have her too. So that's the thing about opportunity that I don't think, I think getting opportunities is one thing, making the most of it is quite another. Not every person makes the most of opportunity. Some people, you give them an opportunity, they come in, the first thing they do, they look for faults.
No, I've learned this from you particularly. Excellence. You can't move into a space and you're just going to be just another person there. That you go in, you need to excel.
And sometimes, Salome, though, I want you to talk to us, because sometimes things are not necessarily smooth. People see us here as professors, as Black Africans, South Africans. They say, you talk like this because things were easy for you. But things are not always. So when I say focus on a career and not a job, and that I say if you keep pursuing it despite all the challenges, then it's a career. I really mean all the challenges, whether you support or not, whether you've got people against you or not, whether you've got resources or not, you keep hustling until you get there. But Salome, here's the thing, sometimes people also think we never fail. Have you ever failed? You are so good. Have you ever failed at all?
And yes, and the big answer is yes, and not once and not twice. I have failed, and I'll start off. With my high school, I consider myself as having been a C student. When I do well, I'm a B student. I get my B's, and I felt like an average student. But I just had you finish what you start. That's basically that's what pushed me. But I think the real time where I really failed properly was during my specialist exams. On 2 occasions, I failed, and it was heartbreaking. I questioned myself. I questioned my intelligence. I asked myself, is this racism? All sorts of things. Is it the system that's against me, or is it really that I'm not intelligent? But after everything, you go back, you write the exam until you pass it, and you can't sit and blame people that you failed me on this day. I went in there on my own. I wanted to be a gynecologist, and I felt no one is going to stop me. If I have to go back 5-10 times, I'll keep going. You're not going to stop me from achieving what I have set out to do. Wow. So yes, our journey is very difficult. There are failures, there are stumbling blocks. Sometimes there are people working against you. You will literally feel that there are people throwing stones, bullets, all sorts of things, making it as hard as it can be for you. But stay focused. You know why you are there. You're the only one. You chose to go there, and you knew exactly why you're going there. So don't let other people stop you, or bad marks or anything stop you from becoming who you want to become.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Salome, that's so, I've got goosebumps. You say, you wanted to be a gynecologist and nothing was going to stop you. Because the truth of the matter is that you could have stopped and opened your own practice. You would have still made money. You could have been a consultant. You could have been whatever. You would have still made money, because young Black African, South African women are needed with your skills, even without that specializing. But you said, I'm not giving up. I'm staying focused. I'm going back for it, even after you were failed. And that's the big lesson. Many young people, because they have gone through high school, passing everything, they get a little failure, they want to give up. You don't give up. You see people against you. Sometimes you think, whatever, don't give up. Keep going. And your story is very, very inspirational. I feel inspired myself. But Salome, you also have an interesting, positive outlook to life. Just generally. You joined UCT last year.
Yes, right? It's exactly a year now.
Exactly a year, and people don't even, some people think you've been here much longer.
Yes.
And I see you everywhere. How do you do this? It's not easy, it's not smooth. Life in general is not necessarily easy and smooth and whatever. You come from Limpopo, you were in Gauteng, now you are in Cape Town, and you are going on, smiling as if life is always good. But I know that life is not always. How do you keep your positive attitude? Because a career, you need to have a positive attitude and learn from everybody and get out of the politics. How do you do that?
And I think for me, the biggest thing is never lose sight of the vision. Never lose sight of what you are here to do. I arrived in UCT. I looked around. I made my own evaluations. What is good? What is bad? What I like? What I don't? I asked myself, what am I here to do? I'm here to establish a global surgery discipline, and that's what I'm coming to do. Whether I get paid enough for it or not, whether I get all the support or not, this is what I've come to do. And just to share a bit of insight, I literally walked into UCT, into the medical school, and it was like, okay, here's your job, here's your office, and figure it out. Of course, I've got an amazing team. I work with amazing people, but to walk into a setup where you literally have to create something that was not there, and curriculum design, you were speaking about different parts of it's not just marking exams, it's you have to put together a curriculum for a master's, etc. Those are leadership, other parts. But to answer your question, it's not losing sight of what you are there to do. The politics will be there. There'll always be politics. There'll be racism. There'll be all gender issues. There'll be, I've been criticized in other parts of my life for being too young, for being too ambitious. But you never lose sight of what you are there to do. And that's what I do every day, that this is what I'm here to do, and this is all that I'm going to do. And not trying to be anybody else. I appreciate what I bring to the table, and I'm not trying to compete with anyone or trying to outdo anyone else. I'm just trying to be the best me that I can be, and that's it.
Fantastic. Salome, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so great so inspirational as usual. The students are loving it. The young academics are loving it online. Thank you very, very much. I'm sure I'll talk to you
so
again
much.
soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So there we have it. There we have it from Professor Salome Masube. Isn't she amazing? Amazing, amazing. We've got young academics who are making it. It can be done, right? She says you focus on your goals. We are about, it's 5 to 5, and we are about to end the session. But I thought before I end the session, I should give you a sense of what's coming up. So we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. Remember that I said 3 things: the teaching, the research, the community engagement. I want to hone in on the research journey, more so because in many places, if you don't get your research act together, going up the academic ladder becomes difficult. You see, teaching speaks to you. You can't leave a lecture hall not attended to. The students will remind you that you must be in class. Research doesn't speak back at you. It keeps quiet, and it can die a slow death. So what I want us to do is to focus on, to start with a focus on research, to spend time with a focus on research, which many people struggle with. I want us to spend time doing that so that you can build your research journey. In the midst of that, we'll also talk about teaching, because it's a key part of being an academic. So in next week, I'm going to talk about how you plan your research journey, your research career, or research journey in an academic career, right? We're going to do that. I'm not going to talk about publish or perish. I'm going to talk about developing a proper research career as an academic, right? I'm going to talk to you about decisions that you make as an academic. You know, you make many decisions as an academic. Academia is a wonderful career because a lot of these things are thrown to you. You must make a decision. Which conferences you go to. It's not like there's a principal who says, this one, all the academics must go to, this one, not everybody must go. You decide which conferences to go to. You decide who you collaborate with. You decide when, how, and where to publish. That nobody decides for you. You decide. So when you publish in bogus journals, it is not somebody who forces you to do that. You make the choice. And so in this series, there will be a session where we'll talk about low quality journals, what some people call predatory journals or vanity publications. We're going to talk about what is vanity publishing so that you get to know. We're going to talk about a lot of scams, academic scams, or scams in academia that happen where people write to you and they invite you to bogus conferences, or they tell you you are now in the top who's who. They make you pay and make money out of you. We're gonna let you in so that you are not duped, all right? So that you get to develop a proper career. So I want you to be here with us for all the sessions, because academia is not a career that is spoken about much, but it is a very important career to talk about, because we need people who produce knowledge. We need people who can come and run our universities, people who can teach our students. And if we don't talk about these things, we're going to end up building academics who can really, it's not just about decolonization. Decolonization is very important. We must talk about it. And we had Professor Zondi talking about Africanization and so on. I want us to talk about the nitty-gritty so that we don't get duped. There's lots of scams, but there's also lots of big decisions that you need to make. And we've got to know how you decide to make these decisions. And I will tell you how I made the decisions, and I will tell you what worked, what didn't work. I'll tell you what I wish I had made, decisions that I wish I had made, and then we can together make sure that we build a strong community of academics from you. So remember, you can send your questions. By Wednesday, I'll publish another advert reminding you of our session on Sunday. Inbox us your questions. We don't want to answer trivial questions about how much you get paid or not. That's very irrelevant. We're talking about big stuff here, developing a career. So send your questions. I will have more people invited. I will invite Mukobe. It will be a good time. I'll bring Mukobe back. We were not able to catch up with him, but we'll catch up with him next week. He's a brilliant, inspiring young person. And then we'll talk about the journey of your career. It's going to be fantastic. Have a good week. Take care of yourself. Don't let anyone get your spirits down. Life is tough, but you can be kind to yourself. So be good to you. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself more than you expect anyone else to love you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.